What's up, y'all? Welcome to What That Mouth Do. So tonight we have special guests. You go ahead and introduce yourself because I know you in one name. I don't know if you go by another name or how you do this. So go ahead and introduce
Yeah,
yourself.
everybody know me. You already know it's Hoodnews Wavy.
All
It's
right.
you know what's up.
So what about yourself? Tell them what you do. Like, who are you? What's
Um,
Hoodnews Wavy?
I am the program director for Hoodnews Global Radio. But besides that, man, I'm a dad, I'm a man. I mean, all that.
Okay.
Ain't too much. It ain't too much to me. It really ain't.
All right. Okay. So what's Hood News Global? We don't know what Hood
Hoodnews
News
Global
Global is
Radio.
radio.
Oh yeah, everybody got to know by now, man. We was big on the listen to my radio and tune in apps. We did that for a long time. Shout out to Junior Gooseby for putting everything together and making that platform for a lot of the artists that was local to really come out and get to tell their side of how they became an artist and what make them an artist and all that. And man, that was great, man. That was a major part in D-Land, man, because we put a lot of people on. We did a lot of good interviews with a bunch of people. Matter of fact, I'm about to see if I can get this interview with Mike Smith when he go to Spring Hill on the 20th.
Okay, that's what's up.
So I interviewed him the first time he came out at Hood News Global Radio. I interviewed him when he first came out, so it'll be dope to do a second interview with him.
I feel like I know who Mike Smith is. He sing that. No, that ain't the song he
Mike
sing.
Smith, he signed with
That not that
Trick
get that
Daddy
money.
and
Gotta get that money. That money. Never
I
mind.
don't know,
I think that's the
I
wrong
don't know
person.
about that. I don't know if that was him, but he from Miami. He signed with
Wrong
Trick
person.
Daddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check him out because I don't even know who. That's a common name though, Mike Smith. There could be a lot of Mike Smiths out here. But yeah, that'd be a good interview. I mean, any interview is a
Froze
good
up,
interview.
sister.
Huh? You talking to me?
Yeah, you done froze up for a second. I see you now though. Your bike.
Okay. So tonight, we have a signature drink. Anytime we do the show, that goes with the name. Tonight we talking about accountability. I don't know
Mm.
why men feel like women don't take accountability. And women feel that men don't take accountability. So at the end of the
Mm.
day, somebody ain't taking accountability for who is accountable for the situation.
Right.
Because how all the men think the women don't take accountability, all the women think men don't take accountability. So somebody is not taking accountability. So tonight,
I
my
see.
drink is real simple. It's called Blame It on the Goose. So we
Uh,
got goose
blame it on
vodka and
something.
just
Don't start
orange
this
juice.
excuses.
Yeah, blame it on the goose. So we ain't got nothing else to blame it on. So we're gonna blame it on this right here. What you
So you said
drinking?
vodka and orange juice. That's what you said it is.
Yeah, Grey Goose vodka, orange juice. That's it. What you drinking?
Well, trying to get myself together, so I'm drinking some good old water. That's what I'm
Really? Okay.
drinking.
Yeah, we do virtual happy hour, but we do not. What is it called? Like, you know how you try to make people drink and do all that?
Well,
You
it's all
drink
right. I
whatever you
pour a
want to
little
drink.
shot in my little cap, and I hit it back.
Okay, okay, look, it's whatever you like to drink. You drink water, you can drink soda, you
Yeah,
can drink
for sure.
whatever. It's just whatever make you happy during happy hour, virtual happy hour. Just good conversation and some drinks.
Right, right, right.
Okay, so tonight we're talking about accountability.
Accountability.
And I
Yeah.
want to know, I got a question though to start off because I feel like people always want to talk about who take accountability for this, that, and whatever. But out of all your friends, all your family, all your cousins, play cousins, everybody,
Mm-hmm.
when they call you and they done got in an argument with they female or they male, they just went through a breakup, they going through a divorce. How many of them come to you and basically tell you that it was their fault while they going through some stuff? Does anybody ever come to you, or if you ask them like who was to blame in the situation, do they ever say it's them?
You know what? Usually, when people get up the courage to say that it's their fault, it's usually come behind what the other person's fault was first. It's usually like, well, she made me do this and do that, so that's the reason why I did this. So I know I messed up because I did this, but it's because she made me, he made me. That don't cut it when you dealing with the right and wrong of things. Like, if you gonna say I did it, you gonna say I did it because I did it, not because somebody made me. Because we too grown to tell somebody made me.
I agree. But as I started thinking about accountability, I'm like, I don't think that I ever heard anybody come to me and tell me it was their fault. Every time something happened, it's always the other person's fault. Or like you said, they made them do it. But how
Mhm.
can somebody make you do it? Is that somebody taking accountability if they just don't put their self in the mix? Because
Right,
it takes two to tango, right?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that's kind of like it's the what they call that the backhand or whatever. Like, it's like you can't sit here and say I'm gonna take accountability and then still put somebody else in the problem equation. Like, it got to be just you. Like, listen, me, I'm at a point right now where I'm taking accountability for so much stuff in my life that I'm realizing, like, ain't nobody gonna fix what I messed up because I messed it up. So if I don't fix it, then it just ain't gonna be done. So taking that accountability is helping me take some steps towards being better, as far as what I want to be.
That's a good point. You just said something that is super major because nobody gets it. When you take accountability, nobody else should be mentioned because it ain't got
Mhm.
nothing to do with nobody at that point except for you because that's what's called taking accountability. If you have to
Right.
mention anybody else's name in it, you're not taking accountability because you're still putting the blame on somebody else.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
I want to start off with okay, what accountability is according to Google. I
Don't know.
always try to get some different statistics and different things like that, but I feel like Google, is a good source too. Sometimes when I want to know some things, I just,
But
Google.
iPhone is different, right? iPhone, y'all got something else.
I use
Like,
Google.
do you still use Google for iPhone? Because I know, like,
Nope.
iPhone users, they use something else.
I use Google Chrome and I go to Google tonight. I said, what is accountability? So, according to Google, accountability is acknowledging your actions, expressing remorse, taking steps to fix the situation.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
this is not something that you're doing with somebody else, but you're doing this on your own. You're acknowledging in your mind, like, dang, I fuck, excuse my French, I'm not even gonna say that word, but I messed up
Mhm.
in the situation. Now I feel bad about this because I really didn't mean for things to go the way that they did, but I know due to my actions,
Mhm.
it caused things to go way past where it could have ended or stopped at. And
Right,
now I need to fix the situation. So
right.
technically, that's what Google is saying accountability is.
Yeah, so it go past what people understand of accountability being, okay, me just saying, yeah, I was wrong and I'm sorry. It's more than you just saying you was wrong, but it's showing in your actions that you gonna do the opposite, and that what I mean? So doing the right thing and changing is a part of accountability, and people don't know that. They just think, like, I can say, oh yeah, well, it was my fault and I know that, but whatever it's done. No, that ain't taking accountability. That ain't no reassurance. That ain't nothing. That's just you just writing it off. But taking accountability is exactly what Google said. They right on that. You gotta put that action behind it. You gotta be sorry about it, and you gotta actually want it to be different.
But you know what? I noticed that there's a lot of people that try to like. Have you ever seen people get into an argument or something happens, and instead of them apologizing or acknowledging anything, they just try to sweep it under the rug and act like nothing happened, and the next day, like everything is just like
Yeah,
nothing happened.
I look. I'm a victim of doing it. I've done it before, man. I've felt bad, and my pride wouldn't really let me feel stupid about feeling bad. So I was just like, you know, instead of me saying I'm sorry and apologizing and going from there, I'm just gonna act like it never happened, and we're gonna go to the next step. What's up? We finna go get something to eat. We finna go. You know what I mean, just
Look, I
move
was just
along
thinking
with it.
like ways that people say that they sorry without saying that they sorry. Like in a sense, I was thinking the food thing. I think the food thing is like the main thing. Like what you want to eat? Where we going out to eat? You want to go out and eat somewhere? You want to go do something like or sexual? Like what's other ways that people apologize without apologizing? Or you could tell that they feel sorry because they don't want to come to you first and
Yeah.
say that. But
But it's always gonna be pleasing to you, so they always gonna do whatever you like. Like if your thing is going to the movies or whatever, or going for a walk, that's what they gonna come ask you next. Like, what's up? You wanna go take a walk? Me, I was just so, I'm just so, I'm not gonna say I am because I'm changing that. So I was so just street with my feelings and so I come in and be like, we straight? All right, what's up? What we finna do?
really,
Like,
that's what you
yeah,
say. You straight?
like we straight, like we good now. Oh, all right, everything cool. All right, then let's move on to the next step. When
No,
it
but
really,
why? Hold on. Why would you think everything is cool? Like you would just come in and just say, like after a big argument or
cause
something, are we cool? Can we move
yeah,
on? That's what you
I
saying?
mean, we took our little bit of time to be mad or whatever and feel how we feel. But if I come in and ask you if we good, if you ain't got nothing else to elaborate on the situation, like nah, I just want to say this, whatever, then we good. We finna move on past that because we're not gonna sit on that and let that be a thing. But that was just really me and my thinking of like I'm not an arguer. I don't like to argue. I don't like confrontation and stuff. So I just want to get past it and get around it. I don't want to sit here and keep going back and forth. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna say how I feel, and you not probably not gonna hear me because you're mad. So I feel like I'm wasting my time anyway. So let's not talk about it. Let's show each other love and get over it. So I kind of tried to do that. And conversation is major. It's major. I messed up, my relationship a lot because the communication just I wasn't with it. Like I'd rather just be over it and brush it off than to talk about it. Feel me?
But did you ever notice that a pattern, a negative pattern of sweeping it under the rug and then having the same exact conversation again later, the same exact argument again because you never addressed it, you never created boundaries after that situation, like you never really apologized. So in the back of their mind or the back of your mind, you still like, oh, they really not sorry for this because now they coming back and doing the same exact thing. We talk about the same thing. The argument is the same thing because you never addressed it. If you address it
Hmm.
right then and there, then why would we have to have the same conversation over and over and over again? I think it's the sweeping it under the rug that's causing people to have these long term arguments about the same exact thing over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that, but I will say that I feel like it depends on the severity of the situation for y'all to really have to have a talk like that. And I only say that because I feel like the smaller things we shouldn't put too much feelings into it to where if I don't come and have a talk with you, now we got a problem. Because if it was something so small that you know, I don't mean it like that or whatever, and maybe you just can realize you took it wrong, or maybe you realize that I said it wrong, whatever. Unless you bring that up, really, it's like the smaller things, little things really don't need to be addressed too much as far as like sitting down and having conversations about it. And like I say, I just feel like you shouldn't give the small things too much energy, especially the things that ain't really nothing. Sometimes one person in a relationship is feeling the type of way for so long, they make it something. So anything is something. So now we got to talk about anything. And I get tired of talking about little shit so much. Feel me? Like,
Hold up. I got a question, but what is considered small to you? Because what's considered small to some people is considered something big to other people. So,
yeah.
what would you say is something small that's not worth conversating about right then and there or addressing the situation and letting it linger for months
Um,
and years?
Well, not even that it ain't worth talking about. I just feel like it's a little easier to get over, and it's stuff like maybe um maybe I said something to you and you kind of took it in the wrong way and you kind of gave me a look or whatever, and I was like, man, chill out, like it ain't that serious. And to me, it wasn't done in like a malicious way. So to me, I'm being truthful. It ain't that serious. But you like, oh well, just because you mad or because you in a place where you feel like you always get that type of reaction or attention, if you always gonna make that little thing to be like, oh well, I'm gonna have an attitude until he talk to me about it. Nah, that's causing that can cause a lot of problems because I mean, why drag the little things out? You should just be like, hey, look, you probably ain't mean like that, but you said what you said, and I ain't like it, and that's that.
Hood News Wavy. Can you give me an example? I need an example. Like, tell me a real example of a past or now relationship of something that you thought was really, really small. Because I want to just see how small this is. Because I feel like a lot of women, we all have the same kind of arguments or the small things that men think are really small, but we think is like way bigger in the situation. So, what?
Okay,
Give me
so
a real example. We're not going with this like, oh, just this. It got to be an example because I'm
all
about to
right,
tear it
so
apart.
not this New Year's, but the New Year's before that. I was still me and my baby mom was still living together, and we wasn't together, but we was still, messing around. We was still telling each other I love you, such that. But so on New Year's, I didn't give her a kiss on New Year's when the ball dropped and all that. And to me, it wasn't all that of a thing. But at the time, because she didn't like make it no big issue either, or maybe she did. I don't know. I be smoking a lot, but
Oh gosh.
because I didn't do that. I found out later in arguments when that came out. Oh, you didn't even kiss me on New Year's, da, da, da. And it's just like, damn, you holding that? Like, shit,
But
I would have kissed you twice if I knew it would have caused all this. But that's just a little thing to me, so I ain't look at it like that.
I have a question. So, okay, you say that's a little thing, but that's kind of like withholding affection and love in some sort of way, especially if you're used to doing it. So when you don't do it, it makes people feel like you doing it for a reason or that, you know what I'm saying? Like the
Right.
love is gone or you losing the love. So that's why I keep
Yeah.
saying like people see things as little things, but let's just reverse the roles in the same sense like you said that even though y'all wasn't in a relationship y'all was still acting as in a relationship, which means that everything should still kind of be the same besides the fact that y'all are not
Right.
saying that y'all in a relationship at that moment because y'all are going through some things, right? But y'all still acting like y'all together. So if the roles were reversed and it's something that she's used to doing all the time with you that you like let's see, what is something that your baby mother does for you that you love or that you like or that's your love language that she does for you.
Really, really, man, it's just really the way that she deal with my kids and the way I watch her be a mother is that's kind of like what drive me because we went into a place where it wasn't much affection or even love because we were just so used to all the hurt and all the cycle of the same stuff for 10 years. So, but all them 10 years, really, every time I got to sit and watch her being a mother and watch her in her element, that was like that was something that was she didn't know that was something she was doing for me because you know all the roles I played, whatever I was at the time, I was always a father. I was always a man, and I was raised by my mama, so I love women. Like I love a motherly woman. So that's something she would do for me for sure, for sure. That
So okay,
she
so that's
probably don't
something
know.
that you're attracted to, that you love to see, and that that turns you on to see her be that type of person.
Right.
So imagine all of a sudden seeing her not in that role and not, you know, basically putting everything else above that. Say
Hmm.
even just dating and being dating somebody else, and now all of a sudden like spending more time with them and just certain things like that that you thought was the person that you knew, that you met, that you fell in love with, and now all of a sudden they kind of like changed. I mean,
Yeah.
you feel like that doesn't affect you in any kind of way. That should be something small because maybe in her mind, like we not together no more. So it don't matter. It don't matter if if I'm spending more time with this. And maybe she's not spending more time with the man or dating or whatever. But at the end of the day, that's just what you see because you're not in a household or with her to see her in that element, anymore. But now you're gonna look at it like what turned you on about her may turn you off now because you're not there to see it. So that's what I'm
Right.
asking. Like when you say it's little stuff like that that people harp on, like later on y'all could get back together, right? So say y'all break up, y'all dating other people, you see her in a whole different light. Okay, now this time you let this person come ahead of the family or be this or whatever, or come between the family. Now all of a sudden y'all back dating again. And then this is something that, even though you thought it wasn't a problem to you, as soon as y'all get in an argument or say something, then what's the first thing you're gonna bring up?
Yeah, but I mean, I really can't say that because men and women is just different like that. Like a man is not gonna bring up nothing little. I'm not gonna bring up no shit like that. What I'm gonna bring up is what really matter. Like my real feelings. Like, okay, after so long, how could it be? All right, if I took so long to be the person you wanted, and now I'm the person you wanted, and now you don't want this person no more. It don't fit you, it don't suit you, whatever the case may be. It's like I want to get into the real fact of why you feel like you got to go somewhere else. If for 10 years, and if it was love, we built it on this, that, and the third. Why we ain't making it work? Why we not taking our time, becoming friends again, doing all this? If you giving your attention somewhere else, you putting your energy somewhere else. That's what's gonna bother me. It's not gonna bother me the fact that, oh well, you just feel like you want to be dating now. It ain't that. It's that, if we really locked in and we really had we said we had, we be working on the growth of it. I'm not gonna look in the next man's yard and be like, well, his grass look better than mine. Let me go find some other grass. No, he probably water his grass a lot more than mine, and I know I ain't water my grass all the time, so I can stand up and be like, you know what, I'm wrong, and if I can make it right, I can make it right, cause I'm a man. That's what I got to do.
No, I agree. I mean,
But we don't
I've
bring
been
things like that. Like we're not gonna bring out the small stuff like y'all do now.
no, but it's a lie. It's really a lie. Y'all, the thing is that everybody considers something. Listen, no, honestly, everybody considers something big or small. So let me tell you, last show we talked about trauma and
Hmm.
how people bring their past traumas into their relationships. I just had to write a paper about like different traumas and stuff that people went through and how it affects their relationships. Trauma really affects people mentally, physically, everything. Like it can affect your brain, it can affect your body, different things like
Oh
that.
yeah, for
I
sure.
don't know, but I feel like everybody in the world has been through some kind of trauma at one
Mm.
point or another, whether it goes from abandonment issues, whether it comes from abuse, and whether it comes from what else? Like, there's just so many different things, like car accidents, tragedies,
Mhm.
everything. So certain things bring out triggers in people that when they are in relationships and different things, that their trauma, because okay, say two people that come in a relationship both have trauma. Now all
Mhm.
of a sudden y'all are in that relationship, but y'all traumas are like affecting each other. Like there's triggers. So say, okay, I have abandonment issues, but now that when we get mad with each other and we going through it, you decide to walk out the door, or you decide to tell me that you leaving. So I have abandonment issues. My trigger is gonna be, okay, well, you leaving. So why do I want to be with you? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just situations where you're either gonna go crazy and you're gonna want that back, or you're gonna really be like, okay, well, let them go because I'm not gonna keep letting people walk out of my life. So people don't realize that communication makes a difference, because even though it seems like the small thing to you, that love, or that, depending on what she or whoever might have been through, that hug or that kiss might have meant a lot more to them, because they have trauma from something where maybe they didn't get it, or maybe they weren't loved the way that they feel like they should have been loved. So when they feel like a kiss is nothing, you never know what that kiss means to a person. So you can't say that that doesn't mean anything, or that's a small thing, because a small thing, you know to you is not a small thing to them.
Yeah, and that's true. And it's like I kind of try to explain, to my baby mama, like I wanted her to know, like now that I'm taking accountability and I'm trying to change and be sorry for my part of what I did. Um, it's tough to do that and still be getting the brick wall, but you still got to do it because at the end of the day, it's really more of a self thing than it is for anything. Like it's great that you give somebody else the comfort and the closure of letting them know that you apologetic and that you're remorseful for it and you want to change, but doing it for yourself is a different type of growth, and that's something that I'm going through right now. Like I'm just growing so much, I'm changing my ways. You can't you can't always let your pride speak for you, and that was my problem. Like when I met my baby mama, before she was my baby mama, I ain't had no kids. I was June though, we was in the mansion doing parties, and we was living life. Everything was straight, and I ain't have to. I wasn't one of them dudes. I kept a list of women, and we had fun, and we made a time, and that's all life was to me. But as I started to get my baby mama and have kids and all this stuff, I started to really change myself, and now I see that a lot of the times I let my pride speak for me, and that's what got me this far in the hole where I'm at. So that's just a major thing. Like with accountability, man, just say how you feel, then don't let your pride speak for you, cause that's not your heart. That's what you feel. That's what other people expect of you. That's your conscience telling you like what about you and what everybody gonna say. So just don't let your pride speak for you, and always say how you feel and keep it real, cause like you say, that little thing, now that we apart and all that, that little kiss is a big thing to two people who want to be back together who ain't been together in so long. So I understand that. I understand what you're saying about that. But just to a man, stuff like that seems so small that we can kind of like get over those things without having a big cry breakdown type thing. Feel me?
I got a question. So I didn't get before we started. I usually try to get this disclaimer because I don't
Mm,
like to ask questions that people feel uncomfortable about. So I have to ask you again before I get into any of these extra questions.
we open. We
Because
open.
like yeah, I was gonna say like I usually like to just talk and be open about stuff, and
I'm
it's
gonna say
it's not
whatever.
the point of just like putting your business out there, certain things like that. But a lot of people's stories and certain things that they're going through, it helps other people.
Right.
So just think about listening to something on the radio, watching something where somebody says something that resonated with you, and they kind of probably, maybe somebody else out there going through it, they baby mama right now, and they want to, what I'm saying, take accountability, and they need to know
Yeah.
like how to make this happen. People argue relationships. I mean, I don't think I seen Alicia Keys say she don't argue. Her and her husband, they don't argue. But does that mean that it's just because maybe she got some stuff to say and he just don't say nothing back, or vice versa? Like at the end of the day, an argument is because two people
Yeah.
have something to
Maybe.
say that they strongly about, and then sometimes it escalates. But it doesn't mean that what they're saying is not valid or it's not a good thing to say or speak up for yourself. The argument comes when two people just are like loud and just extra with it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing with having a
Mhm.
conversation. It's nothing with saying how you feel. People feel like you bring up certain subjects, and that means you want to have an argument.
Yeah,
But
man.
why?
I mean, it got to be somebody listening. It can't just be two people talking. People got to listen too. So that's where the argument come in. It's just two people talking, nobody listening.
No. I feel like the argument coming was two people trying to talk over each other and
Yeah.
not listening. So that's
Well, I
why I said
mean,
when it comes to these, people have to realize, and this is one thing I learned with just starting with my research with this, because I always kept thinking like, okay, maybe it's a one person thing, or it's one person that really, really keep the argument going. It's one person that always starts something. It's one person that do this and do that. But it takes two to tango. Like you
hmm
can't argue with nobody that ain't arguing back with you.
yeah.
You can't even
But
have a
see,
conversation. I mean, you could have a conversation, but you're gonna look crazy because you're gonna be talking to yourself.
but
Who can sit there?
that's how you end up bad. That's how it end up bad because it's like I was that person a lot of times. Like, man, look, if I feel like you're not hearing me and I'm just talking in circles, I'm just gonna stop talking, and then you gonna keep talking and you gonna want me to keep talking, but I'm over it. And now, oh, you don't want to talk, you don't want to hear. So it's important to not overwhelm people with your feelings. Like, know your partner's limits. If you know that if you start telling me, oh, you do this and you do that, you only got about 3 U's before I'm like, damn, when we gonna get off me? Cause it can't just you can't just steady be telling somebody about themselves, and think they're gonna sit there and want to hear it when you got things you need to change. When it's things that they want you to change, you can't always be a you person. So it's about understanding your partner's limits and not overwhelming them. If I see that, I'm talking to you about this and it's getting too for you, look, all right, well, we'll finish talking about it later. Anyway, I just want you to know how I feel, such and such and such, and let it be like that. But sometimes I ain't say just females, males too. They probably just push like, nah, well, I need to tell you it, and you overwhelm people and they shut down. Nobody don't. I'm not gonna hear you after that. Once I shut down, I'm not gonna hear you because I'm already like, you know what? I'm past it. Like I ain't getting what I need out of it, and she ain't gonna get what she needs. So we pass this.
So I feel like a situation in relationships, especially when it comes to arguments and things like that, is that even though you don't want to keep arguing, people just give up too easy in relationships. So, like you said, like, I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that, whatever the situation is. Yeah, it's good to have those boundaries, but what is the problem with creating those boundaries before it gets too far? Like how we just talked a minute ago about that, the communication. That's the difference with taking accountability way after a situation and communicating what you will and won't allow before things get to that point. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody keeps on doing what you ask them not to do, and you put that clearly, those are boundaries and things that you don't agree with, then now they're disrespecting you. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
difference with having a communication and like having a real conversation with somebody. So something happened and now you feel disrespected because this person said something to you or they did stuff in a certain type of way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead, you're gonna walk away. You ain't gonna say nothing about it. You're gonna sweep it under the rug, and you're gonna come back 10 minutes and say, "You all right?" So then, what's gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen? You know what I'm saying? Your feelings are still not being
We all right.
validated, and at the end of the day, like this person doesn't know that this is a problem to you. So why do they feel the need to validate your feelings? You know what I'm saying? Because you never made any boundaries. You never made it clear that this is a problem to you. So to them, they feel like this is just how you are. They don't know that
Well,
something is
yep.
traumatic or happened to you where you don't allow people to talk to you this way. I don't want people to, you know what I'm saying, to be like this with me. I like attention or love from the person that I'm with. Like, what is the problem with sitting down and communicating that to somebody when you feel like they hurt you in that moment? I don't understand.
It ain't a problem. It's just it's how everybody gonna look at it. It's how each person gonna look at it. So I really think it's important for you to know how your partner deals with conversation and just deal with them in that way because if you know I don't open up a lot, but when I do, you make me feel like you don't hear me or you make me feel like, well, I'm just complaining now, then I'm not gonna want to open up to you. So you need to kind of learn how to. Because, all right, we're taking accountability. I can't say that I sit here and be like, oh, well, we're going to have a conversation and I'm going to tell you all the bad things about you and everything I don't like. I'm not going to mention nothing good. And then I'm going to expect you to be happy, like, at the end of it and everything to be good after. Okay, now we had a conversation. He heard what I had to say. But, yeah, I heard what you had to say, but all of it was negative towards me. So you want me to be okay with this afterwards. But if you could have approached me differently, like, look, there's things that we go through that's good, and there's things that we go through that's bad. These are the bad things. These are the good things. I want to have more good things than bad things. I want, trying to just make a conversation easy for the person that you know. If you know your person, then you know how they act. You know what gets them mad. You know when they're gonna stop talking to you when you say the certain stuff. So, coach that. Take accountability and make sure you're the reason why the conversation go good if you initiate it. Make sure you're bringing the good energy to it.
But you do understand that everybody doesn't have good communication skills, right?
Yeah, and that's why I say it's important to learn the person because I don't at all, but I'm
So if
learning.
you don't, but does your person have good communication skills? That's why it makes. That's why they say you got to have somebody that balances you out. Because two people that have bad communication skills that ain't willing to work on it, that creates a toxic
But like I
environment.
said, the communication can't always be the negative towards you. Because if you asking me, is my partner or did my partner? No, I would say no. Yeah, you're good at communicating. You're good at telling me how you feel, but you're not good at your approach. You're not good at making it a problem for us. You're making it a problem for you. So it's not like here's something we gotta fix, here's something we gotta change, here's something we gotta grow with. It's more like, look, this is what you ain't doing, and you need to do it, or it's gonna be a wrap. Nobody don't want to hear that. When you work at a job and the boss say, look, if you can't make these burgers faster, then I'm finna fire you. Well, fire me then. Well, go ahead
But
then.
you do understand that when we talk about with the trauma and situations like that, and this is the thing where I be saying a lot of people don't take the time to get to know who they are with as a partner and as a person. When a lot of people get together, it becomes more sexually. When people get
Mm.
together, it starts off mainly as sex or as physical attraction.
Right.
People don't get together. I ain't gonna say everybody, but some people do meet and they get attracted to a person for their mind or how they think or how they, how they act, they're classy, certain things like that. But when it comes to men and women, most men are physically attracted or sexually attracted, and that's what they kind of veer off of, like through their relationship. Women, I guess speak for every woman, but I know a lot of women, they go off of feeling secure in their relationship. They want a man that they feel like can protect them, protect their heart, their mind, their body, whatever the situation is. Yeah, they want to be attracted to you and different things like that. But I feel like women, we kind of look beyond the surface of things because we know when time gets down to it, we need somebody that really could, have our back and is going to really be there for us. Because a lot of people get with people, they get with a man, and then 2 seconds later, he with every woman that he could find. Because at the end of the day, like, he didn't have no substance to him. He's just a man that looked good. You know what I'm saying? So what they attracted to, everybody's attracted to, and the man knows that. So they're gonna use that to their ability. But when we looking really for like a partner, a person that we with to have kids with, certain things like that, you want a child, a guy or a woman, depending on what what you like, that is
Right.
going to be the protector of you, that's going to care for you, that's going to love you. So that affection, that is definitely part of. So that one kiss, it didn't mean anything then. You said it's a small thing, so she harped on that. But why would you take that as a good thing? Like, oh, dang, she really cared. Like, who really cares somebody give him a kiss? But if it came down to just a kiss, like, why would that not be? You know what I'm saying? Why would that be something small or minor or something that should be
Well,
discarded? You know what I'm saying?
it all go back to just the simple fact of it's about your approach. If you're always a person that's always pointing out the bad, then you're always having a reason to be mad and always want to have something to argue about. Then it's just like I'm gonna look at it as damn. You just picked another argument about a damn kiss. Like I kiss you every day, but this day I didn't, and you pulled that out to be mad about. So it's just like I don't always you don't always want to see a woman with a reason to be mad, especially when the reason just be so small. Because now it's just like, why is you choosing to be mad over these little things? Why is you choosing to ruin the moment? Why is you choosing to add to the fire, anything like that, when you know what the situation is? Feel me? So it's just like it's about you can't always be that person. A person will be willing to talk to you as long as you're not always gonna come at them, or else they're gonna be like, you know what, I ain't finna talk to her because I know what she finna say.
But this is what I be trying to find out. Like when people get with people and they really know who they are, because you look back at any situation. See, I like to have a conversation with about the people when they hear too, because some people have something to say. Like, say you could say one thing, but in your sense, like how you just said that what she said is like small, it could mean something way different. And then as she like tells her story, it could come out in a whole different way. But as for the person that do you feel like this could be coming from like a place of maybe trauma or a situation? Like, can you link it back to anything that maybe she is trying to feel protected, or feel like she has to always fight in the situation because of maybe something that, what I'm saying, could have happened? Like, is that?
I mean, it could be a lot of things. It could be, and I don't really like the word insecurity because I I ain't never really been insecure. I've always been overprotective, meaning I'm not worried about. I mean, you talking to other niggas, this, that, and the third. What I'm worried about is you putting yourself in a position where somebody gonna hurt you or somebody gonna do something to you. I'm overprotective. I don't want to see you hurt. I don't want you to put yourself in that position. So I even get mad at you putting yourself in that position. But really though, it could be a lot of things. It could be so many things, and I don't never try to project my past, what I went through, what anybody put me through on the next person, because I ain't come in the beginning with that. I ain't come to you hurt and you grab me like that. Every time you link up with somebody in the beginning, everything good. You don't really know nothing bad in their life until you really start to get into it. And then you're like, okay, she having problems here and she got family problems and this, that, and the third. So it could really be a lot of things. It can come from a lot of things, but it depends on how you put it out. I can have all the negative thoughts in my head, but it's up to me on what I'm gonna put out. I ain't gotta put out the negative. I could pick the one or two things that's good in there and say that and let that be my character. But it's all about what you put on people. Yeah, people can remind you of things that you went through, and you should remind them that you've been through that, and that's not something you want to go through again. But you shouldn't just automatically fault them, have an insecurity or feel a type of way about something without them understanding why you feeling that way. I don't think it's fair
But
for you to feel a
look,
way like
look,
that.
see, you contradicted yourself. You said without them understanding why you feeling that way, but you don't
No,
communicate.
I mean, you shouldn't feel a type of way without letting me know why you feel that type of way. That's what I'm saying.
But
You
they
should.
gotta communicate to you, but you don't have to communicate back to them.
No, I'm gonna communicate to you when you tell me the reason why you doing what you're doing. Then I could be like, all right, well, I ain't know it was all that, and I ain't really see it like that. Maybe it could be something you said as a joke that something happened in their past, and it's not a joke to them, and they go off and be mad. And now you're like, what the hell? So now I gotta
But
come to you and dig it out you. Don't, I ain't have to dig the anger out you. Don't let me have to dig the problem. I mean the solution out you.
but I feel like you just said that, but in the same sense, you said well, you feel in a certain type of way because you don't want to confront it or say that, you decide to just go the other way and come back and sweep it under the rug. So you kind of contradicting what you do in the situation, and you not taking accountability now because you saying that they need to come and tell you this, but at the same sense you don't feel that you need to tell them anything.
Nah, well,
You
like I say, I do. It's
communicate.
just,
You say you
it's
don't
not
communicate. You walk away, you go, and then the next minute you come back and you be like, we
right.
straight? You want to
But
go get some
but
food?
if I'm mad, if I got a personal thing with you, if you unknowingly made me mad, it's not right for me to be mad at you without letting you know what made me mad. Cause now I'm just being angry and bitter now. It's like, damn, what the fuck you got an attitude with me now? If you don't tell me why, it don't mean nothing. You just got an attitude now. Now you just a chick with an attitude. Now what?
I got a question for you. So how do you, so in those situations, okay, talking about accountability, when you feel some type of way, your feelings is hurt, somebody that said something, did something. I know you said you walk away, you come back, you say you all right. Like when it really comes down to a real conversation about how you feel and how they made you feel in that moment, what is your approach? I wanna do a walkthrough. Like say something just really happened. Now you coming back in the house, you know, you're not all right. So you're gonna come back in like you all right, even though you're not all right. And you're gonna say, do they want to go get some food? Are y'all all right?
Well, I'm speaking on the old me because I'm the new me still in progress. So I
But
can't
I just
say
want to
I'm
know,
like
like,
this
how
now.
would you
I'm like that.
communicate? Like words, not outside of "Are you all right?" or whatever. Like, what is your biggest thing that you would say if you came in and you know that you are not okay? Something just happened. You want them to communicate something to you when something is wrong with them instead of walking around with an attitude. But now you walking in, and even though you don't feel like you have an attitude, they may take it that you are giving them attitude because you still haven't said anything. Because
Nah,
non-communication is still communication, right?
yeah,
In a
and
negative.
the old me, man, listen, we playing spades. I got the ace in my hand. I mean, I was like that, man. I was really tough. Like if you ain't, if you made me feel the type of way and you ain't trying to change it, that go back to what I said. Like if I make you feel the type of way, I'm gonna let you know about it, and if you don't change it, then that's when I could feel the type of way about you on it. But it's the same way. Like
So
if you
how do
make
you
me
let
feel the
them
type
know
of way.
that? How do you let them know that? I don't want to skip past that. I want to know, how
My
do you actually let
attitude,
them know
man.
that?
Listen, I was, man. Listen, I wouldn't even tell you. I come in there and I just be silent. I just be doing my own thing and da da da.
So
And you
how
talk to
does that
me and
let
I
them know that's you walking around with a man attitude? Do you
right, but
understand that?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The old me, I ain't proud of that nigga at all. Cause I wasn't a person who was thinking like, all right, everything got his reaction. I was just thinking like, you know what, you did to me, I'm doing it to you. You ignore me, I ignore you. So I was really, we was playing tennis. We were just back and forth with it. We were just hitting until we were tired. So that's really what it was. And honestly, like I said, I come in there, my silence was more than anything. Like I just be quiet because I don't want to argue. I don't like to do none
That's
of that.
worse though.
So
That's
uh,
worse. Because
it
they
is,
don't
but you
really
know
know
what?
what you're thinking. They
At
don't
the
know how
time,
you
it was
feeling. Like that's worse.
yeah.
How
I
could you
know, but it
create
was
a
better for me at the
boundary or
time.
tell somebody that's not okay for you to talk to me this way or do this or that if you just come in like everything is okay and give them attitude? Now you basically doing what you saying they did to you to them and you feeling like you any better than them. How is that accountability though?
Right, right, right. It wasn't at all. And that's the thing. It's like, you know what, at the end of the day, I was just like, you know, I felt like I'm only gonna give what I'm gonna get. I ain't gonna be the fool. I ain't gonna do none of that. And you know what? After so long, when you with somebody and you learn their ways and you learn their actions, sometimes you could tell motherfuckers don't even care that they made you mad. So therefore, I'm really not gonna make you care now. We just ain't gonna speak about it. But that's always the stuff that drove me to be like, you know what, like, man, I think I just need to find something new. I think I need to do this, that, and third. But that ain't the answer to everything. And that was my problem in life. That was a big thing. Like just find something new. Just move along. And now that I'm more like I want to talk about things and I want to understand things from both sides of the table. It's just like damn, like you ran from everything, bruh. Like you ran from the confrontations, you ran from your feelings, you ran from when you really wanted to tell her how you felt and what was on your mind, you didn't because you was a man. Because at the end of the day, you got to be a man. So if I tell you what's on my mind and you don't care, to me, that just made me that much less of a man. Because now you know how I feel, and you don't give a fuck. Not excuse my language, and you don't care. So now you playing on that. Now you gonna start to treat me that way. So men protect themselves. Men protect themselves, and how they do that is they pull back on their emotions. They show a little bit less, but loving you, they can't stop, but they just want to show you a little bit less, so maybe you'll notice the difference and you'll make a change. But instead, in my situation, she noticed the difference and that started to make her fall back. And then I
But
seen
have
that
you
started to
ever
make her fall back.
created Sorry. Have you ever created any boundaries in your relationship? Because some people don't create boundaries. They let things go on, and then after it happens, they just continue to let it go on until things just get to the point where they can't take it no more. But have you ever, without non communication, do you feel that you ever created any boundaries to let your partner know what is acceptable or unacceptable of you? Because I feel like boundaries is something that people need to make clear boundaries in their relationship. Me, I am one for making clear boundaries. It makes it look like I'm being bossy. It makes it look like I'm being controlling. But at the end of the day, you know what I will and won't accept. And if you go across my boundaries, then you know that we're not gonna be together because now you disrespected me. Have you ever came
Right.
out and said any kind of clear boundaries in your relationships ever so people even know what they can and can't get away with you?
Um, it was just respect. That was it. Like I was big on respect because I am big on respect because I mean I give respect to everybody. And if I disrespect you, then I'm expecting that back. But that's not my style. So respect is the only boundary I ever put. Really though, I really like I can't say that I had boundaries in them 10 years that we was together because I was new to everything we was going through. Like I said, I was new to being a dad. I was new to being a steady one woman man and living in the house with her every day and with my kids every day, all that was new to me. So I had to learn those things. So I didn't really know how to set the boundaries there. I didn't know what I was really willing to go through and wasn't willing to go through at the time. Because if I was to set them then, I'd be setting them from the single mindset of me when I ain't had no kids and I had women. And I'd be like, look, you talk to me funny, you out of here. If I catch you entertaining niggas, you out of here. Like I wouldn't accept nothing because my mindset is like, why? Why would I? Why would I stay and play when I can go and I mean be good?
But do you know if you would have said that and created those boundaries up front, it would have changed your whole dynamic of your
Yeah, but
relationship.
like I said, I'm a man. We don't really I'm gonna be honest, men, well, not me anyway. We don't think like, oh, I gotta set boundaries and all that and third. No, we just be like, all right, I'm gonna show her the vibe, and she gonna know what I do and don't do, what I like and don't like, and we don't really set boundaries. We just show you how we are and hope that you respect it and hope that you, I mean, play the part. Other than that, men don't set boundaries. We don't be like, oh well, I don't like when you use them a towel that's hanging up in the bathroom, the hand towel. I rather that's just for looks. You the stuff like that is just like
So,
we
but
don't do
listen,
that.
they do it, and
We don't
then
do
what? You
that.
gonna walk around with an attitude, or you gonna go tell somebody else,
No,
like, let me tell you what this girl did,
no, but
man. She don't
that's
use my
you.
hand towels or that. I mean,
No, but that's you. That's women. That's just what y'all set them type of boundaries. And y'all have them type of things. Men, we just go with the flow and we build what we want to have, what we want to see from our women. We build that, and that's what I'm learning now. Is like the things you want to see from your woman, you got to put into your woman, so that way you can see it come out. So
but you
it's
have to put it in them, but you also have to let them know that you're trying to put it in them, because somebody that ain't got it in them, they ain't receptive and they're not taking it in as that, because that's not in them. They don't even know what
yeah,
you're
that's
trying to
it.
do. So now they think that you're trying to control them. So you letting them know, like, okay, this is what I want. This is the type of woman I want. I still love you as who you are, but at the end of the day, I like the classiness. I like this, but you have to put it in a positive way. You can't just be like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
if you basically reward and encourage negative behavior, that's all you're gonna get. Now, when they
right.
doing something that is what you really like and you really love seeing it, you say that, you mention it, and it's gonna make a woman want to do it even more, because most women want to please their men.
Right, right, and that's what I will say, man. I will say that to all the men that's watching and listening, that it's really important for you to take your time. Don't worry about your pride and all this stuff. Don't worry about being perfect or don't worry about messing up. Take the time to put into your woman if that's who you love, because at the end of the day, it took for me to get so far away and to be around other people and to mingle with other people to realize, like, man, it just ain't the same as like with this one person. And then when you think back, like, man, I done hurt that person so much, I done did so much. Like, sometimes you can't always come back from it. You can't always be sorry and get another chance. So it's important to really just man, show them how you feel. And I mean, don't let, like me, like I said for so long, I let my pride be the front of the fight, that she ain't never see the heart behind it. She ain't never seen the heart behind the shield, because it was she had to. I mean, go through all that. So just don't let your pride be that. Say what you feel, say what's real, and speak your mind. Now, what I will say is, I like to see on Facebook. Maybe we put a thing up there and see what men say about men boundaries, because I mean, besides the way that a woman talk to you and the way that she represents you, men don't really set no boundaries as far as I know. But I would like to hear what other men got to say about that. What's
Listen, we
boundaries
need to
that they got?
create that. Yeah, we need to create that chat. And that what that
Yeah,
mouth do on Facebook. That's what we do. We bring up different topics, and we like to see people, engage in the conversation and go back and forth. Whether it's whatever, that's just how they feel, and we can't get mad about how people feel. But we are.
mm-hmm.
I can't even believe it's been a whole hour already. I did have some last
Mm-hmm.
minute things I wanted to say, so I guess I'm just gonna go back to the last things. Is how to kind of accept accountability technically. I'm gonna try to end it off on here. Hopefully I don't get cut off. So I want you to know it takes two. One
Right,
person just can't be accountable and not, what I'm saying, like, realize that it takes two of you guys to be accountable in this situation, whether it's you just thinking about you and that person, but it's two of you, what I'm saying, it's you
right,
and you thinking about what you did to that person. So it's a two thing. Like, even if it's just you doing it, but you have to think about both of y'all, not just
right.
you. That takes accountability. It says that an hour, but it's supposed to go to an hour and 10 minutes. Hopefully it don't cut off what I'm saying now. So I'm gonna finish it off. Next thing
Yeah,
it says, steps to taking accountability. Be honest with yourself. You cannot be honest with someone else until you are honest with yourself about your actions and the impact that you may have caused in the
mhm,
situation.
yeah,
Next, you can know what you did, but it's also good to acknowledge how what you did affects others.
mm-hmm.
Next thing it says, real sincere apologies. You can say that you're sorry, but if you don't mean it, it doesn't mean anything. People pick up on energy and they are going to still take that, even if they say nothing about it. They understand that you really didn't mean it. So
Right,
you have to speak with your actions, not just your words.
right, right.
Don't just talk about it. You got to be about it and set boundaries.
Facts.
and try to avoid making the same mistake over and over again. Because as you keep doing it over and over again, it's like fool me once, shame on whoever, but you fool me twice, that I'm the fool now because now I keep
Right.
letting you get over with the same thing over and over again. So then I have to take accountability that at the end of the day, I'm letting you play me in a different type of way that I'm not used to because I have boundaries that maybe is said or not said, but now, I didn't communicate that. So I have to take
Right.
accountability that I don't communicate and I didn't communicate well. So
Yep.
at the end of
Okay.
the day, that's how we're going to take, accountability going into 2025, 2026. Like if you really saying that you're taking accountability, that's how you really take accountability. Not just,
Yeah.
oh, I said I was sorry, I thought about it, or,
Right.
whatever. No.
And y'all stay hip to Google because they put you on, man. Accountability is not just saying, yeah, I was wrong and I did this. It's about, being sorry, and it's about taking the changes to make sure you don't do it again. Like you said, not having that repetitive cycle. Don't always be sorry. Accountability ain't always you being sorry. A person get tired of hearing you say sorry and you don't seem like you're sorry. You ain't changing like you're sorry. So it got to be more than words. It got to be action. It got to be feelings. All that. So accountability is definitely a whole body thing. Like it take your mind, your soul, and your physical to really to become that and to prove that. So yeah, what it is.
You said a mouthful earlier. When you said accountability, and you said accountability means taking action, taking responsibility for your own actions without
Right.
adding
And nobody else.
anybody else in the mix of it. That's
Yeah.
real accountability. Like when I said I could read what Google and everything said, but accountability means you are taking responsibility with nobody else added into it. You're not bringing nobody else in the mix except for you at that moment. If you have to add somebody in the mix, you didn't take accountability.
Right.
So I hope this thing doesn't get cut off at the
Now
hour because
remember
we're a
we,
little
we
bit
started we
over.
started we started 5 minutes after, so we got until 35. So we got 2 more minutes.
All right, so that's like 2 more minutes. So I want to ask you, do
hmm
you have anybody that you want to publicly take accountability or say that you really sincerely apologize
Oh
to?
yeah. Well, it's only been for the last 10 years. It's only been one woman in my life, so it's not like I gotta finna put the scroll out. But yeah, no, definitely my baby mama is. She's definitely somebody who I'm working on. Making things right with. And when I say that, I mean like showing her that I do respect her in those ways and appreciate her in those ways, and all the things that I couldn't really at the time pridefully say how I felt. I can express to her now, and we talk about that more and whatever. So she's somebody I definitely want to take accountability for. I know that I did a lot of things on my part, so I got to make it right. So that's what I'm doing now. I
Yes, I admire that. I have a lot of things and people I probably need to take accountability for, but it's too many to go down this. So I'll work on that later. All
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
for
look,
sure.
we at 35 after. Hopefully, we don't get caught off and we can see and hear the end of this. But y'all go check out what that mouth do is so on what is that? Pandora, Spotify, our Heart Music,
Mm-hmm.
any major platform, Apple Podcasts that podcasts are played on, and hopefully
Y'all
many
know.
more coming in soon. And go follow the Facebook page, What That Mouth Do, for more information and more conversation. And go ahead and get
So,
on Facebook and start that thread so we could go ahead and talk about
oh
these
yeah, I'm
men
gonna
and
start
these
that up as soon
boundaries.
as we get off here because I need to know. I need to know. So yeah, I'm on it. I
All
appreciate you
right.
having me
Well,
on
thank
here, though,
you.
sis. Yeah,
Yes, thank you for tuning in and thank you for joining. And hopefully we'll get you back on the show soon.
yeah, for sure, man. Make sure everybody take accountability, man. Y'all gonna make it right if you made it wrong. That's all.
That's that part, right? All
Yeah.
right. Well,
All
good
right.
night. And y'all, I'll see y'all next time.
All right, y'all.
All right. Later.
Yeah.